Very angry customer at the coin shop. We're going to cover that, my friends. We're also going to cover Jerome Powell later in the video. Got a couple comments that needs to be recorrected once again. We're going to get into that. Help me out with the thumbs up. That helps get the video out to more and more people. We will be doing another giveaway, my friends. At 7,500 subscribers. There's more stuff on the way to me as I'm recording this video. So you must be subscribed for that. You must live in the United States for that, for the giveaways. Let's get into the video right now. Thank you for all the ones who subscribed to the channel. I really appreciate every single one of you. Let's get into it right now. Angry customer. Upset. Teed off. Whatever other name you want to use. Not happy. Apparently this guy lives in Kentucky. Drove down for a summer break. Him and his wife. And they hit a lot of different coin shops along the way. And apparently he got mad at every single coin shop along the way. Because he was not even happy with our offer on the coins he had. He brought in 8 tubes of Silver Eagles. As you see on your screen. They were not in the best of shape. They were toned up, milk spot up, really messed up. Kind of like this one here from 1991. They were mixed date silver. All real. Nothing wrong. Not that they were fake or anything like that. They were all real. They were just really in bad shape. Our offer was $2 behind spot. He lost it with us. He says, you're about the 8th coin shop. He says, I've had coin shops offer me $4 behind spot, $5 behind spot, $2 behind spot. He says, I can't get anything above $2 spot. I says, well, I says, they're beat up. I said, they got milk spots. They got blemishes on them. I said, they're not retail friendly. I'm trying to help the guy out. I'm trying not to get upset at the guy, but he's just screaming at me. Fine, scream at me. Yell at me, curse at me, do whatever what you want. That's fine. I'm not paying up anymore. She's not going to do it. Don't care how mad you get, how teed off that you get. You're not going to get paid anymore. It is what it is. The price is the price. And he says, everybody's trying to take advantage of me. I said, sir, we're not trying to take advantage of anybody. If you had better items, we would pay more. I said, that's what it is. I said, you know what? I'm going to try to get out of this, and I'm trying to be nice. Again, my friends, I'm trying to be nice with this guy. I said, we're going to try to sell him at spot. I said, if we can't get him at spot in 3 weeks, I said, they're going to go to the smelters. I said, I don't like to smelt anything down. I said, but they're in that bad of a shape where they're really un-retail friendly to begin with. Someone wants them for silver weight, great. You know, after he's calmed down a little bit, after, I said, look, go price this around. I gave him 4 of the coin shops. I said, look, I'll hold my price. If silver dips, I'll still hold my price for you. I said, I'm trying to help you. I said, you're not going to find a better price. He says, well, you're not the worst I've seen, but you're not. I says, well, I'm not the best either because nobody's else offered you more. I said, I'm kind of in the line with the rest of the country here. What they're paying. I said, if you're telling me you come from Kentucky and you hit several coin shops on the way down, and this is what you're getting for offers, I said, then you know you got a problem with the items you're bringing in. I said, they're not in the best of the conditions at all. We're offering you a fair price. I said, you want the deal? We will get it done. I'll pay you cash. No problem. Won't give you a check. I said, I can give you a check, so you can go down right to the credit union, right down where, and they will cash it for you. I says, and they won't charge you for it. They just need your ID. I said, Out-of-state ID will work too. I said, all they're going to need is your thumbprint on the check. And he says, well, there's no sense of, arguing with you because you ain't going to pay me no more. I said, well, if you want to leave, that's fine. I says, but this is the price. I says, nobody around here is going to give you more anyways. I said, I can guarantee you that. And his wife finally chimed in and said, just take the deal. You know, he says, but I could have had more just 2 weeks ago when it was $39, or a week ago when it was 30. I says, yeah, you could have. I said, we would pay you $2 behind spot at that price too. I said, but now it's was 36 and change. I said, now we're paying 34 and change. I said, yeah, that's how it goes. That's how the cookie crumbles. And I said, I know you don't like to hear it that way, but I'm just telling you the straight, honest truth. I said, if you don't need the money, then don't sell it. Wait for a higher price. I said, if you're still around, if silver jumps up next week, week after, you're still around town, silver jumps up, we'll be paying more. But right now, it's not going to happen. So he finally did sell them to us. You know, maybe, I don't know what it is. Maybe I just gave him a little bit more time to think about it. He didn't really swear at me, but he was getting close to that line, I would say, but he was really teed off and upset. And he did call me a couple names, but nothing like swearing names. You know, you're trying to rip me off, and he called something else, but I won't say that word. You can figure it out yourself what he said, and don't put that in the comments. That will be, I will just ban that word. So anyways, you got to prepare, my friends. You know, you got to know what you have. For one, when you're selling. If you don't like the price a coin shop, pawn shop's offering you, it's an offer. You got to remember that. Not because we're trying to take advantage of you. Not like these coin shops are trying to take advantage of people. I think most of these coin shops are good people. Most of these pawn shops are good people. Maybe the pawn shop don't know as much because they got to know a little bit about everything. They deal in a little bit of everything. Not to take away from these pawn shops, because some pawn shops are very good and know their stuff in silver and gold line. They know it very well. Keep that in mind. If you don't like the price, it's an offer. Not because they're trying to rip you off. If you accept their offer, then maybe you got ripped off. Keep that in mind. Don't just blame the coin shops, the pawn shops. You know, they're in business to make a little bit of profit too. That's how we sustain our profit margins. And trust me, it's not done like this all the time. It's done on a very small percentage base. Look, you buy it $2 on the spot. Spot drops 50 cents more afterwards. Now you're down to $1.50 profit margin. Silver drops $1. Now you're $1 profit margin. You see what I'm saying? It works both ways in the markets. We take on all the risk as coin shops, as dealers, as pawn shops, as online dealers. We take on the risk. Yes, some like to do the hedging and stuff like that. We don't do that. You know, we just go with the times and just try to give people the fair shake as possible. There's some stuff we pay up for spot. But when they're coming in banged up, milk spot up, toned up, blemishes on them, no, we can't. They're not retail friendly. So hopefully we can just, it's only 4 rolls. We got them out now. And in the bin. And spot. Someone wants them at spot, they can come in and grab them up. I'm sure they'll be gone by the end of the day. I'll keep you folks noted on that. Check out channel sponsor Pinbacks, my friends. They got 10-ounce Canadian Royal Mint bars on sale right now. 2 to 4 count. Special pricing. 5 or more count. Special pricing. Check them out. Let Pinbacks know that Coin Shop Chris sent you. And I just want to point out, this is not on sale at Pinbacks, but this is kind of like a new item they're doing. It's 1 ounce silver rounds, various mints. The coins you see, the rounds you see on your screen may not be exactly the rounds you get. You can get mixed tubes. If you order a tube, 20 or more, 20 per tube, you could end up with 20 different rounds. This is more like a don't know what you're going to get type of situation. It's a grab bag. It's a mystery bag, if you want to call it that. Mystery tubes. You know, I've ordered stuff like this off of other online dealers way before Pinbax offered me this sponsorship. And I tell you, I was quite happy. You've seen them before, what I've got. I've even got some coins mixed in. Yeah, they have coins with a little bit of milk spot. But what Pinbax is saying, these are retail friendly. Meaning no milk spots, meaning no damage on the rounds. It's a grab bag situation. This is just a sample of what you may receive. It's not a guarantee. If you like a mystery and don't care what's on the round, that's something for you right there. A little over melt, little over spot price. It's a good deal right now. Let them know that Coin Shop Chris sent you there as well for those. They're underneath silver rounds, my friends. Various mint rounds. Surprise, don't know what you're going to get. I like those type of deals. I love them because it's a mystery. I like mysteries. You know, maybe you find a cool round and it's worth a few more bucks than you paid for it. Never know. Just saying. I want to get onto this Jerome Powell with no interest rate cuts again. You know, people like to blame Jerome Powell, what's going on for the economy. Look, Congress gave the Fed two mandates. Two mandates. Jobs and inflation. Balance the two. Who are you going to put in there right now is going to do any better than Jerome Powell? Yes, we had two Fed governors saying we should have a 25-point base rate cut this time around. I agree with that logic. But now I've asked this question, and not too many people want to respond to me on this one. But I've asked the question, you drop rates, inflation's going away. Inflation's going to take off. You leave rates alone, like we are now, and I'm going to get into this next subject in a moment, you're going to see more job loss. Well, we just had job loss come out today. 1.9 million people, first time has filed for unemployment last week. 1.9 million. Where do we go with this? Where do we go with rates? Do you want job loss? Keeping rates the same? Do you want high inflation? Where do you balance the two? You know, because inflation can also lead to more job loss. That put a stagnant of the overall economy too. When prices keep going up, people will be spending less. That means more job loss as well. Where do you balance it? And I'm not here to blame President Trump. We've had the same thing with Biden. To tell you the truth, it's called government spending. We got to reduce government spending. That's where we need to reduce it at. They're spending money hands over fist. That's the problem. We're spending money overseas. You know where I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to keep my mouth quiet about that. But you know where we're at. So it's not. Can't blame one administration over the other, because inflation, we were spending money way before President Biden came into office. We were spending money way before the first Trump administration. We were spending money a long time, my friends. It's just coming to a head now. And it's been coming this way since 2011, but they just duct tape Band-Aid over it. This is why we need to keep stacking. This is why I've asked again, this is your American dollar. Why is the silver quarter worth a lot more than that $1? Explain that one to me. Explain to me that silver and gold have not kept up with inflation. Explain to me. This is why we hold precious metals. Not some Bitcoin, meme coin, stable coin crap holder. Hell no. They can just take it away from you in a click of a button. Physical silver and gold are real money. You want to call it God's money? Call it God's money. It's real money. And when people start waking up to that thing, seeing this, and I know a lot of you folks know what's going on, but I do this because I'm trying to wake up more and more people. There's a lot of need. There's a lot of concern out there. There's a lot of people who got into precious metals thinking they're going to get rich overnight. You know, I've touted this scenario before. But I ain't going to go there again this video. Silver and gold protect your wealth. Bottom line. Kept up for the most part. Yeah, we're seeing a little dip right now in silver. So what? So what? If you're not selling it, you haven't lost a gosh darn thing, and now have you? So what if it's gone down? Are you selling it? Then you haven't lost nothing because you still got your metals. Some people get so worked up it dropped $1.50, $2. People get so worked up when gold drops 60, 70 bucks an ounce. Who gives a care? That is your buying opportunity. Right then and there. If you're able to afford to on the dips. I'm trying still. I bid it on about 12 Morgan dollars last night. I got outbidded every single one. Not paying up for them. I'm not overpaying. Gotta be cautious out there. Gotta be patient sometimes. Don't overpay for your precious metals. That's all. You gotta shop around. Shop around, shop around, shop around. It's a pain in the rear end to shop around. I get it. But if Pinbacks can save you some money, which oftentimes they can save you quite a bit, we've shown that before. Why not shop Pinbacks right now? Go on Pinbacks website and compare prices. I think you're going to see a big difference. Sometimes there's a major difference. Sometimes they're a little bit more expensive on their stuff. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. We've seen that too. But one thing that Pinbacks carries over everybody else, and I've heard this several times in emails, in the comments, in the channel. I talked to Michael. I talked to Brian. Very nice guys. Very patient. That is the thing that gets you to buy from Pinbacks. Them being patient. Them talking to you. Them answering your questions. So thank you, Pinbacks, for taking your time. Michael and Brian and your team taking their time to answer people's questions the honest way. What more can you ask for? If you folks have any questions for me about silver, gold, or platinum, reach out to me in my email. I'm happy to help anybody out there. Stack wisely, my friends. Keep stacking. Don't give up. Now, some people say, I got enough. Really? Let me ask you this question. Do you have enough dollars? If that question is no, then you probably don't have enough silver or gold. Or just silver like myself. I love silver. That is the thing I am in love with. Because I don't make big purchases. Most of my purchases are a lot smaller. So I stack silver more. I stack silver over gold. Not like I don't dislike gold. I would love to own a couple gold pieces, Mike. But if the crap hits the fan, how are you going to break a 1 ounce gold piece down when you need something for 25 bucks? I don't know. Don't know how that's going to work out. But with fractional, 90%, 5 ounce bars, 10 ounce bars, that's the right thing for me. That's right in my zone where I spend. You got to think about that as well. And to the next video. We're going to stop the melt campaign continues. Stop the melt, my friends, of our history. 90% silver. We got to stop the melt. And I know it's not us. We're doing everything we can to gobble it up. Takes time. It's got to get into strong hands. It's got to get in the right hands. Strong hands wins the race. CoinShop Chris is out.